I won't look at anything which is political. But all cases, most of the cases.
Hello and welcome. You are watching Business Today TV. This is Market Today and I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is also Shail Bhatnagar. Remember, the Nifty 50 has now declined for 4 consecutive weeks. It is for the first time that this has happened in over a year's time. But the big question is that will the markets really bounce back or remain on the back foot amid a host of important domestic and global events that are lined up during the week? We'll discuss all of it. But first up, the top headlines this hour. Investors and traders will keenly watch the fresh relisting of NBFC Jio Financial Services on Monday after the stock settled at 262 rupees a share a while earlier. Bulls are on the back foot on the Lal Street after 4 weeks of losses and rampant inflation and continuous profit booking by FIIs dampened sentiment. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail, as well. Well, for the first time, like I said, in last 15 months, we've seen the Nifty fall for 4 consecutive weeks. The Bulls did manage to defend that 19,300 mark, however, on Friday, and that's thanks to Reliance Industries. What do you see for the Nifty in this new week, Shail?
Good morning, Sakshi, and good morning to all our viewers on Market Today. We have a fresh start on Monday, but as Sakshi so very lightly put in, we haven't seen a green weekly tick in the month of August, and that's a bit worrisome as far as bulls are concerned. As far as the Nifty is concerned, the psychological 20,000 level somewhere hit on the last week of July has not been crossed. In fact, that's turned out to be a very, very strong resistance. So about 690 points or 2.2% is what the Nifty has given back to the markets. And the Bank Nifty is much worse off, 2,400 points, something like 4.4%, Sakshi. So on Monday, we are on the back foot, and that's the reason why you are starting with the Jio Financial Services as your main headline, because that's something to look forward to. Otherwise, you know, we see pain all around. This is going to be a macro week. We are going to see RBI's minutes coming in on Thursday. Remember, this was the August 10th meeting when the Reserve Bank of India had flagged off very serious inflationary concerns. And from that point of time till now, the market has really taken it to heart. We've seen foreign institutional stern sellers. We've seen a lot of selling pressure coming on index heavyweights, especially banks, because interest rates are now likely to remain strong. And the fact that you have the Jackson Hole event on August 26, which is Friday, and that will also be the last round of August's expiry. So we are in a bit of pain as far as the Nifty and Bank Nifty are concerned. And these are all macro things, global and local inflation, fears of interest rates continuing to be strong, in fact higher, are something that's worrying the markets terribly. And the fact remains that, Sakshi, none of the main stocks except for Reliance and maybe State Bank of India in the index heavyweight space show any signs of encouragement as far as bulls are concerned. So I would believe that as we have seen over the last 4 weeks, you are going to see the market, die a small death every day. So we are seeing options data saying that the range has now come down to 19,100 to 19,500. If you narrow it down further, it's 19,300 to 19,500. 19,500 is a very strong resistance. You are seeing a lot of option writing happening there, and 19,300 seems to be a fairly decent support, but we say this every day. Nothing's happening there. On a daily basis, you see the supports shifting lower and lower, and Nifty is at 50 EMA. That's a bit of a pain. It's held for the last 4 days. You are seeing both the daily and the weekly chart. So that's the thing. Just let it be. focus on cash stocks as far as the trade is concerned, Sakshi.
Okay, we will focus on a lot of stocks that are in focus and have been outperforming, whether or not the markets on the benchmark levels have not been able to achieve too much in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But Shell Nifty Bank, also important for a lot of investors out there, that index too is stuck in a broad range. It has dropped for the 7 consecutive sessions, apart from falling for 4 consecutive weeks. The last instance of the Nifty Bank also falling 7 days in a row was back in September of 2022. And it's already 2,500 points down from its 52-week high levels. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, so from the record high of 46 250, we've seen a 4.5 percentage cut on the Bank Nifty, and that's mainly because of this foreign selling, Sakshi, that we saw in the month of August has now exceeded on a net level 10,000 crore rupees, and primarily our foreign fund friends have booked on private sector banks. The record highs that you saw on ICICI, Axis, so many other private sector space are now sort of getting trimmed, and that's the reason. I mean, at 100 EMA, you've seen the Bank Nifty losing 2,400 points, as you rightly mentioned, from July 27th. Now the issue is that none of these charts look in any kind of medium to long term strength. You see, whipsaws happening. We'll discuss AU Bank in a while. You see some strength coming in on Federal Bank, but Sakshi, there isn't much to talk about. At 100 EMA, we've seen a lot of pain coming into the Bank Nifty, and that's primarily because of global and local inflation, the fact that the treasury yield curve is inverted, and the fact that Chinese deflation is now creeping all across Asia into our markets as well. That's a bit of a pain point, and like I said, leave it to professional traders. Bank Nifty can be easily controlled by one or two banks. That's HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. Together they hold a 50% weightage in an index, and that's very, very painful. Both of them are in a downdraft. So that's the pain, Sakshi, that's coming in. I would imagine people will pay a lot of focus on what the RBI minutes meeting will reveal on Thursday. Remember, it's a weekly expiry, and Friday it's the Jackson Hole event, which I'm sure you'll talk about in a bit. So, I would just say find peace, solitude, and a lot of gains in the PSU banking pack, especially those below PNB, SBI, Canara Bank and BOB, which is Central Bank of India, Bank of Maharashtra. They're also catching up with their earlier peers, and that's how we see the trade. Focus on PSU stocks, focus on railway, defense theme that's come up really well. Focus on smaller PSU banks for a nice trading bump up, and just avoid the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, Sakshi.
Okay, avoid the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. But in the F&O space, is there a lot of action at least we can expect from there on specific stocks? Shail, what are you watching out for here?
So slowly let's discuss some positive in the market. It saps a lot of strength to just talking about negatives. But that's how it has been over the last 4 weeks, as you rightly mentioned. But a lot of our stock picks that we look at on the technical part, along with our guests, have worked really well. Let me just highlight a few. I think we'll start with AU Bank, and you'll see a wonderful chart of AU Bank in front of your screen. Remember, I had said that this is one of those rare banks in the Bank Nifty space which is showing some kind of traction, and it was really a heartening day when you saw Friday's trade. AU Bank at the moment, when you look at the daily chart right in front of you, was 2.2% higher on Friday. That's about 711 in front of you, and this came on the back of very, very strong short covering on the charts. So the open interest actually fell 5%, and that is a sign of strength that bears are sort of covering their shorts. This was also accompanied by a nice uptick as far as the price is concerned and the volume. So 1.2x higher volume in futures, the price also rose, and this was accompanied by a dip in open interest. Sakshi, you won't believe this was the only super bullish stock that I could think of when it came to the FNO trades. Of course, we are discussing a bit more when it comes to other charts. The other is Adani Ports. It's seen a very strong breakout over a monthly period, which is I think from the month of January. So it's a 7-8 month breakout that's happened on the charts as far as Friday is concerned, and very strong uptick that I see here. 3% rise in price accompanied by a 2% fall in open interest, and as the chart you see on your screen, that says it all. A very nice breakout that's happened since Jan. So these are the two things that you can look at. And the auto ancillary space, I would imagine Bharat Forge provides a mildly bullish environment, 1.3% higher. Delivery statistics are 1.8x, and again, like I said, strong open interest build up, 6% higher here. Sakshi.
Okay, so three key stocks, AU Small Finance Bank, Adani Ports and also Bharat Forge. We'll keep an eye when the markets hit pre-open and also open in today's trading action. But of course, important to remember what the global handover is for the Indian markets. So the US markets did end on a lackluster note on Friday. The Dow Jones did end marginally positive, but for the week, if you see, the Dow Jones ended 2.2% on the lower note, notching its worst week since March this year. The S&P 500 fell for the third straight week, declining over 2%. The Nasdaq's 3-week drop is the first since December of last year as well. So that's how the global setup is. Asian markets, of course, stumbled again in today's trading action after China delivered a smaller cut to lending rates than the markets had counted on, continuing the Beijing's run of disappointing stimulus steps that we've been witnessing. Also, the gift Nifty has indicated a muted start for the day. On the FII flows, the foreign investors continue to remain net sellers. The FII sold shares worth 267 odd crore rupees, whereas the domestic institutional investors purchased 339 odd crore rupees of shares in the Indian market. Shail, I wanted to just take your view on the way the global setup is, and of course the increasing concerns on China. How big a worry do you believe this could emerge into?
Sakshi, I watch very little of global setups because everything gets reflected on the price on the Nifty. I would imagine there is just intense pain. People are now definitely looking at another rate hike from the US Federal Reserve, and they had said that 2023 will see further two rate hikes than what is already priced in. So you're going to see a rate hike. The inflation at the moment in the Western Hemisphere, especially the US, seems to be out of hand. And remember that the US enters its presidential election phase somewhere between now and the next year, and no US president can go with two polls with an inflation number above 5%. So this is a very painful thing, and it's reflecting adversely on all global indices. Added to this is the deflationary phase in China. So you are seeing rate hikes in America, which is the world's largest economy, and you are seeing rate cuts in China, which is the second largest economy. So this dichotomy is not at all appreciated by markets, and that is the reason why you see pain sort of weaving into portfolios, pain weaving into indices, into stock prices. I don't think so that we have seen the back of pain. You talk about 4 weeks of losses, something that has happened for the first time in 15 months. All this is fine, but data is data, and macro is macro. In fact, I'll plug in something really important today. A very important person, Mr. Nilesh Shah, will be joining us at 12:30 to discuss global and local macro on Business Today television. Please do watch. He is a man of great intellect and extreme practicality when it comes to stock picking and analyzing global trends, and that is the questions that Sakshi and I will be asking him. एक तरफ रेट बढ़ रहे हैं, एक तरफ रेट गिर रहे हैं, भाइयों करना क्या है? तो इस सवाल का जवाब आपको मिलेगा 12:30 बजे. जुड़िए हमारे साथ, और जानिए नीलेश शाह साहब क्या सोच रहे हैं कोटक महिंद्रा एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी में बैठकर. बट साक्षी, आई एम टेलिंग यू, ग्लोबल मैक्रो इज इन पेन and there is no way that it is not going to reflect in local macro and local stock prices. Rupee is already at a record low, and it's headed lower.
And that is a worrying sign again. But let's welcome our guest on the show, Shail now, Sunny Agarwal, DBP, Head of Fundamental Desk, SBI Securities, to see if he finds any bright spots in today's trading action. Sunny, the big question is for you. You know, we are seeing a whole host of negative global setup for the Indian markets. Where exactly should investors be keeping their focus in this new week? Are there any bright spots that you spot?
Yeah, good morning, Sakshi. Good morning, Shailendra. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, definitely macro has worsened for domestic market and as well as for globally. So we have seen domestic inflation, CPI inflation heading towards 7%. Again, it due to the temporary measure due to increase in vegetable prices. That is one of the reason. And you have already highlighted the rupee trading at a lifetime low. So that is again a worrying sign, especially from a fund flow perspective. So definitely macro as worsened for the Indian economy. But having said that, if I look at derivative data or any other data point, I still feel market is maybe will continue to trade in a range. So this is not a time to look at Nifty or Sensex where it is headed. Stock specific opportunities still exist. So definitely a weakening rupee is likely to give a booster to the earnings of export driven companies. So maybe IT, pharma may see some positive narrative coming from analysts or analyst community. So there is an opportunity at every point of time, and definitely stock specific opportunity exists. And having said that, there are few sectors which I feel are still in good momentum as far as earning growth is concerned. A case in point, FMCG. Definitely FMCG. Again, we are heading towards a festive season starting from next month. So FMCG consumption is the theme which I feel will continue to attract the money flow. Auto is a sector which is looking good. Again, auto we are seeing a robust volume growth, raw material prices coming off. So that's the sector we can look at. And having said that, this is a good opportunity to add a quality businesses from banking or any other sector for a medium to long term perspective.
Right. Mr. Agarwal, good morning. It's sunny side up when it comes to your enthusiasm and sentiment in the markets. Let's take this one by one. You find value in the market and auto looks good. Let's discuss a stock pick here. Where do you think in the medium term investors can make a decent packet provided they look at monthly purchases in a particular stock and hold it for the long term? Where do you see relative value emerging in the auto space after a decent correction in both the index and prices?
So auto as a sector, I believe, is in for a structural bull run for next 2 to 3 years. But again, there are many, one can ride this sector through auto OEM as well as auto ancillary. But as of now, I would like to discuss one company which I feel is well placed in terms of risk reward ratio. So Eicher Motor is the company which I like from medium to long term perspective. One of the leading motorcycle player in 250 to 750 cc middleweight motorcycle segment. In addition to that, they have got a commercial vehicle portfolio in association with Volvo. If I look at basically growth story, first quarter results were very healthy set of numbers, wherein we have seen motorcycle volume has increased by 22% year over year to 227,000 units. The VECV volume, which is a commercial vehicle volume, has increased by 12% to 19,500 units. So both these businesses are firing for the Eicher Motor. But at the same time, the stock was under pressure of late due to the increase in competitive intensity. So we have seen Bajaj and Hero launching a motorcycle in the same category. And hence the stock was, the street was a little bit skeptical on what will happen in case the competition increases for Eicher Motor. But one has to keep in mind that Eicher Motor is commanding 90% market share in that category. And it's not so easy to dethrone the market leader from the market. And having said that, Eicher Motor, the export piece is doing very well. So if I remember, in FY16, export used to contribute 3% of to the top line, around 150 crore top line, 150 crore sales from export business. And right now, the export business is standing at 2,000 crore, and that is a 15% of the total revenue. So I think the export business piece is kicking in well for Aisha. Yeah. I feel one can add this stock in.
We'll just, Mr. Agarwal. Yes, Mr. Agarwal, just a moment, sir. We'll show you a lot of data, and of course, we'll add this in the SIP format. The price to earnings for Eicher Motors is about 28%, and here is a couple of interesting data. The PCR will fire a long-term chart for you, and perhaps one reason why Mr. Agarwal has picked up Eicher Motors is that in the 1 year period, if you see on the longer term, actually Eicher Motors has been the worst performing F&O stock in the auto space, down about 1.6%. So you probably will see a very nice swing coming in into this space, and the chart also says that it's trading below 200 DMA. Mr. Agarwal, all points well taken. A very, very strong brand franchise. The person sitting in front of you has sold off 3 bikes. I can tell you the brand equity of Eicher Motors is phenomenal. You buy a bike, you feel very good, and then you sell it off, and then you feel very bad. So the brand salience is phenomenal. And just let me highlight a couple of other market capitalization that you see is about 91,000 crores, and the trailing 12-month earnings is about 3,200 crores. Revenue is about 15,000 crores. So in terms of margins, the company, because of its brand salience, has a very, very strong command on both the market as well as the buyers such as me. So that's Eicher for you. In the F&O space, remember, these are stocks for the long term. Buy the dip, use monthly purchases, 1 stock, 2 stock, 3 stocks if you wish to build up a portfolio in such stocks, and then probably look at the medium to long term to see decent gains. So this was from the large cap space, Mr. Agarwal. What is sunny side up in the cash segment?
In mid-cap, what I feel is that chemical as a sector has been one of the worst performing sectors since last 12 months. But again, here one company which I like is Archean Chemical Industries Limited, which is traded in with a stock code of ACI. So again, it's a 6,000, 7,000 crore market cap company. The company is market leader in the specialty marine chemicals in India. And the product which the company is into, one is the bromine, which is a kind of non-metallic element, and it is used in many end user industries like pharma, agrochemical, flame retardant, water treatment, oil and gas. And in addition to that, company is into the industrial salt, which is for which the end user industry is the chloralkali chemical, food and beverages, water treatment, oil and gas. So what I feel is that the company has recently commissioned a capacity of bromine. And the capacity has gone up to the tune of 30%, and the full advantage of that will be seen in the current fiscal, that is FY24. And at the same time, company in its recent con call has went on record to say that the bromine prices have stabilized and there is no downside as far as bromine prices is concerned. Having said that, the return ratios are very healthy. ROE, ROC north of 25%. The company has turned net debt free during the quarter, so net debt equity is negligible, almost nil. So what I feel is that as of now, the asset turnover has reduced from 1.6 last year to 1.3. But what I believe is that as the capacity ramp up, the asset turnover will increase, and again the numbers will start looking good. So I feel one can add this stock for a 30% upside in the long-term portfolio. Add gradually. Definitely, chemical is not a flavor, is not in flavor as of now. So what I would suggest is that this is a good opportunity to add one of the leaders in a specialty marine chemical business in the long-term portfolio.
Right. And in front of you, the PCR has already fired a long-term chart. The last week has been very good for Archean Chemicals. You've seen a low of somewhere like 500 and the stock appreciated more than 10% from there. But Mr. Agarwal puts it really well. The all-time high is 728 and it's available at 558 in front of you. And the most wonderful part is that on a net debt level, Archean Chemicals is almost net debt free. Cash of about 242 crores on the balance sheet and just a total debt of about 22 crore rupees. And what's really good is that the price has corrected sharply. And Mr. Agarwal very rightly mentions that if you look at the peer comparison, the stock offers a relatively lower price point to enter. Price to earnings is just 18. I'm looking at 5 other peers where the price to earnings is anywhere between 20 to 94. Price to book for Archean is 4.5 in the mid zone. The other peer groups have a price to book of 1 to 11. So good valuations, and the fact that a fresh plant has been commissioned means that both the top line and the revenue and the net profit will improve from here on. I'll just tell you the trailing 12-month numbers that are there in front of me. Just a moment, please. Yes. I don't have it immediately, but we'll show it to you. So these are the two stocks which are Eicher Motors and Archean Chemicals. Remember, please also take another independent view on these, and they should be accumulated in the form of weekly or monthly purchases and held for the medium to long term. Remember, medium to long term is definitely more than 2 years. Sakshi.
Right. Sunny, I wanted to understand from you, since you talked about Eicher Motors, the auto space has been clearly buzzing and one of the top preference space for most of the analysts right there. 2 more stocks from this space that I want to discuss with you. One is M&M from the 4-wheeler basket. It's now announced inspection and rectification of some XUVs, so that's a bit of a negative news today, but the stock is almost at an all-time high levels. We've seen a stunning rally in the last 6 months as well. A very, very strong move on M&M. In the last 6 months or so, we've seen a 14.5% move. Year to date, it's up by 22%. One is this stock, and the second one is from the auto ancillary basket. Sona Comstar is what I wanted to discuss. Citi over here has given a buy rating with a target price of 680. Here they believe that the demand trends in the global auto industry are going to be pretty strong going forward, and new products and market share gains should come in that should further help the market and this stock to move faster from here. Do you like any of these stocks?
Yes, Sakshi, so Mahindra and Mahindra again is one of our top pick in tractor as well as SUV segment. So for Mahindra again, SUV segment is doing well, automobile commercial segment is doing well. And at the same time, tractor was expected that FY24 will be a muted year. But during the recent conference call, analyst meet, where Mahindra and Mahindra went on record to say that tractor as a segment is again looking good in terms of volume growth. So both the engines firing for Mahindra and Mahindra, and recently we have seen that they are going to unlock the value in their electric vehicle business, wherein we have seen the some fund infusion from 2 marquee investors. One was a year back, and recently they have concluded one deal also. So I feel M&M looks good for a price target of 1700, 1800 over next 12 to 18 months. And Sona Comstar again play on electric vehicle space. But having said that, what I feel is that Sona Comstar is trading at very expensive valuation. So the value in Sona Comstar in terms of stock price appreciation doesn't appear very attractive at the current juncture. But having said that, one of the quality business to ride on the global electric vehicle play. Why I'm mentioning this word global, it is not relying only on a domestic OEM for the business. So it's a global auto ancillary company. So they are providing all the key parts to the all the electric vehicle manufacturer, top 10 manufacturer, EV car manufacturer globally. But having said that, trading at an expensive valuation, buy on dip is the suggestion which I would like to give on Sona Comstar. So both the stock we like M&M as well as Sona Comstar.
Right. Right. Let's look at pre-open trades. For a change, Sakshi, Nifty is open with a green tick, and let's hope this runs for the day. 40 points higher, 19,361. Let's start with this green tick and show you the stocks that are working well on the Nifty. NTPC 1.3% higher, 218. We've seen Infosys 0.8% higher, 1400. Tata Steel and Kotak Bank in the green. Let's just not look at percentages. ICICI Bank in the green, 0.3% higher, 953.80. HDFC Bank 0.5% higher. Sakshi, today is a good day, 1600. State Bank of India in the green. Let's not look at the percentage, but 573. Okay, now let's shift focus to F&O. Where is the buzz? PVR Inox गदर हो रहा है यहाँ पे 2% higher, 1754. National Aluminium 1.2% higher, 8785. Remember, I'm telling you high beta, 1% higher on IDFC First Bank at 90. BHEL 1% higher, 9890. And what else? Power Grid 242.90, 0.8% higher. IEX, the mother of all high beta, 0.8% higher, 124.85. Nifty is still holding on to the green, 30 points higher, 19,340. Now let's shift focus to cash, where all the action is. Okay. IRFC 2% higher, 48.20. Remember, this is a very high beta counter. PNB Housing 2.3% higher, 650. Let's look at Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank 2% higher, 493.60. Remember, these are all high beta. They set the trend in the broader markets. What is in the red as far as NSE 500 is concerned? Muthoot Finance 2% lower, 1217. Paytm 1% lower, 851.30. So Sakshi, this is what the pre-open is. Flat, 30 points higher, 19,340. I'll happily live with it because we have a listing on at 9:15, so we'll pay more attention to pre-open and a live ceremony also. It's the Jio Financial Services that's coming in. Mr. Agarwal, what do you see, good or bad, as far as Jio Financial Services is concerned? 261.85 was the settling down price post the demerger from parent Reliance.
So yeah, definitely a lot of excitement on listing of Jio Financial Services, and again backed by a very strong promoter pedigree. At the same time, they have got a deep pocket to fund the business. So what I feel is that as of now, the street is very eager to hear the strategy of the business, how the business is going to pan out. So as of now, as per the information available, I think insurance is the one sector where they have applied for license to operate the insurance business. At the same time, they have announced an entry into the asset management business along with the BlackRock. What I feel is that on lending side, looking at the past trend, Reliance is very aggressive in inorganic growth strategy. On lending, consumer lending side, what I feel is that company may go for some inorganic acquisition. Again, this is my guess. Let's hear from the company management what is the strategy, growth strategy of the business. But having said that, 260, 270, what I feel is that if somebody is looking for a long-term play on the Jio Financial Services, one can gradually accumulate the stock between 260 and 300 band. So once the euphoria die down after a few days of trading, one can gradually accumulate the stock. And let's wait for the management commentary on what is the growth strategy of the business. But one natural advantage for the company is the access to the 40 crore subscriber base of telecom business. At the same time, a huge clientele on retail business, vendor base of Reliance across the business to fund them for a working capital requirement. So there is already a ecosystem is in place for Reliance to fund them in as far as NBFC business or lending business is concerned. And let's see how the company is able to leverage that and quickly turn that into the profits.
Okay. We are also looking at the rupee that's opened at 83.05, so off the lowest point in history. But that's a bit of a relief apart from the Nifty and the Sensex that are still in the green, holding on to that 65,000 mark on the Sensex and 19,328 on the Nifty. We'll keep an eye out on the stocks that are moving. Meanwhile, let's welcome another guest on the show. Vaishali Parekh now joins in. She's the Vice President, Technical Research Analysis at Prabhudas Leeladhar. Good morning to you, Vaishali, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Your thoughts on the opening trade today? Any particular stocks that you're looking at right in the opening today?
Very good morning to all of you. Yes, I'm looking at Bharat Forge. On Friday, what we saw, Bharat Forge, amidst all the choppiness, is holding on well. So I'm looking at this stock, maybe about 974. This would be ready for a target of 1020. So this would be one of my picks for today. And of course, Reliance, all eyes on Reliance, but let's see how it goes.
Right. Okay. Vaishali,
We have Bharat Forge for the screen.
yes, I was about to say that. Shail also pointed out Bharat Forge right before we were discussing it. It was one of his stocks that he's watching in the F&O space as well. Auto space is clearly something that we are looking at, whether it is the four-wheelers, two-wheelers, or the tractor majors, the big players right there. All of these stocks are buzzing. But one more stock that I wanted to highlight, and that's from the gas space, Gujarat Gas. You know, the company has increased the industrial gas prices, and the stock is up 2.5% today. Vaishali, are you looking at this stock at all?
So I would say, well, for now, I mean, there's no clarity right now because it's been in a very, very narrow consolidated range. But I would say technically right now, on a shorter time period, if I'm seeing 449 is a crucial support level. It's making an attempt of a double bottom over there. So if we see the stock picking up and continuing to surge high, I would say it's a range of 450 to 480 for now. Once it moves above 480 would be a decisive trigger for it to move higher.
Okay, got that. So, all the tractor stocks are suddenly buzzing now. Ashok Leyland, Escorts, apart from Bharat Forge, I think all these stocks are again buzzing. And in fact, Escorts is the top gainer in the August expiry as well. Vaishali, what are you looking at here on short covering clearly, taking shape on Escorts?
So Escorts, the way it's surging, I think it's such a robust up move. I won't be surprised if it goes towards 3,000 levels as well. So I would say continue holding. Of course, I would not recommend a buy because it's highly in deep overbought zone. But those who have bought at lower levels, that 2,600 was the level to be looked at because that was the time when it was trying to give a breakout, 2,620. Yes. And I think this stock is ready for a target of 3,000, 3,001.
Right. Vaishali, good morning. Shail this side. I just want to take your view on the Nifty and Bank Nifty. We've sort of hurt our throats saying 4 weeks of losses, सब कुछ बुरा लग रहा है, globally there is pain, inflation is coming in, China is deflating. You tell us, where will Nifty bounce back from?
So very good morning, Shail, first of all. Yes, the market has been showing some profit booking, some weakness, and Nifty on the whole for this week, I would say 19,200 should act as a good support level. If we break those levels, I think it calls for further corrective move. So as long as 19,200 levels are held on the spot basis, I think it is just hovering around and 19,600 should be the near-term resistance. But what is more interesting, what we were doing morning, our weekly analysis, see, Bank Nifty has been down. The trend has been down for the past 18 days, which is also a crucial Fibonacci number in our technical language. So 43,500 in Bank Nifty continues to be a very, very solid support. So I think we can see some momentum coming in Bank Nifty. And to support my view that yes, Nifty should bounce back from here on. If it doesn't, then well, the view gets invalid.
Right. The star of the day will be Jio Financial Services. The pre-open trade has settled at, hold your breath, 304 rupees. We'll see how this goes as far as the cash markets are concerned. Remember, 2 or 3 points I want to highlight. The settling, the demerger settle price was 261.85. And Sakshi, I believe you have more details on how the trade will happen over the next 2 or 3 days. Over to you for Jio Financial.
Absolutely, very, very important to track in today's trading action. All eyes here. Jio Financial Services, the demerged entity of billionaire Mukesh Ambani-led Reliance Industries, will get listed today, and all eyes will be on that. So, of course, trade-for-trade settlement for the next 10 trading sessions will be important to watch out for. The discovered price, like Shail pointed out, was 261.85. Now, over here, we've also been hearing a lot of brokerage houses come out with their reports. Bernstein's outlook on Reliance Industries is an outperform with a target of 3,000 because they believe that, a lot of unlocking of value can happen from Jio Financial Services right here as well. Apart from this, of course, it will be important to watch out for as to how the trade will happen. Remember, over the next three trading sessions, if at all a circuit has not been hit on Jio Financial Services, then we could actually see the third trading session on Wednesday, that is. After that, the stock will be removed from the exchanges as well. But Sunny, I wanted to understand from you, from the valuations perspective as well, just like how the trade is settling at around 300 or so. Even at this, would you say it is a buy?
So again, I would like to split the current market cap of around 1.6 trillion rupees into two parts. So basically, 6% holding in Reliance accounts for around 1.1 trillion rupees, and the company has got a core net worth of rupees 10,000, 11,000 crore. And if I apply valuation multiple of Bajaj Finance, which Street is expecting the business to be giving tough fight to the Bajaj Finance. So that's the split between the valuation. So around 1.1 trillion rupees for the holding in Reliance, 6% holding in Reliance share. And if I take 10,000 crore core net worth multiplied by 5 price to book multiple, so that comes to 50,000 crore. And if we sum up, that's around 1.66 trillion rupees. So that's the current valuation. Again, what I feel is that we should wait for the company to highlight the business plan. Definitely, what I feel is that inorganic growth can be one of the strategy for the company. And as the plans are revealed, definitely we will get to know the fair value of the Reliance 3 years down the line. But I'm sure with the natural advantage of having such a huge ecosystem of own retail clients, telecom client, at the same time, they have got a huge supplier base, vendor base across the Reliance ecosystem. So there is a lot of opportunity to encash on the low-hanging fruit of lending business. So let's see. Again, if somebody want to still look at the stock, what I feel is that three days down the line, we may see some selling from passive fund when the stock will be removed from the Nifty and Sensex. So after 3 days, one can expect some selling pressure in the stock, and that will be the right time to add in a long-term portfolio. And at the same time, the stock is likely to be in a trade-to-trade segment for next 10 days. So anyway, you can't do intraday trade in Reliance for next 10 days. So after 3 days, one can look to add gradually in the long-term portfolio.
Right. And today we can't do anything because it's already locked on the upper circuit, 20% higher at 314.20. So that's the price discovery as far as JioFin is concerned in the pre-open trade. Remember, as Mr. Agarwal pointed out, you can't do any intraday fluctuations in this over the next 7-10 days. Okay, markets are open. Nifty is flat, 19,315. Bank Nifty is 40 points higher, 43,885. In the green is the IT index, also 15 points higher, 30,612. JioFin opens 20 points higher, 20% higher at 314.20. Remember, we'll be going to the listing ceremony of this particular stock on the index. Let's now look at the broader markets. Nifty, like I mentioned, was flat. I want to see what Reliance is doing. It's 0.5% lower, 25.46. What else is in the green? HDFC Bank, flat 15.92. Infosys, flat 13.93. So these are the three index heavyweights. How about Hindustan Unilever, flat 25.48, 0.2% lower. Axis Bank 0.4% higher, 946.50. TCS in the green, 0.5% higher, 33.81. That's how the heavyweights have opened. Let's look at the F&O space. Nifty is now up 21 at 19,328. Bank Nifty is up 120 at 43,972. In the F&O stocks, what's in the green and in the most active space? Adani Enterprises 1.5% higher, 2618. Gujarat Gas 1.3% higher, 440.58. Adani Ports, we have to watch this one, 1% higher, 845. Ambuja 1% higher, 451. Remember, this is from the Adani stable. Tata Power 1% higher, 231.45. Remember, these are all high beta. In the defense space, 0.7% higher is BEL 127.90. Let's look at what high beta is doing in terms of strong gains. Nykaa 1.3% higher, 133.70. HCC 1.2% higher, 25.30. What else is sticking? BSE 0.8% higher, 871. Nifty is gaining strength, 35 points higher at 19,342. What's Jio Finance doing? It's still stuck at 20% higher, 314. So this is how the pre-open trades have opened. The entire spectrum of Nifty is in the green, except for Reliance, 0.3% lower, 25.48. Let's shift to Vaishali. Vaishali, what catches your eye in the pre-open trade? Thankfully, it's a tick of green.
Yes, so I will be a bit bold to say that yes, I am looking at all Adani category stocks, especially ACC, Ambuja also. But I like Adani Port right now because it has given a breakout. It is sustaining above that. So I would say that I'm looking for a target of around 900 in days to come. And likewise, even Adani Enterprise. So Adani Enterprise is making an attempt to come out of the range. Yeah, Friday we saw a very high volume. So I will wait for the stock to move about to 620 and wait for a target of around 2700. And as I maintained, well, I had chosen two stocks. One is Bharat Forge and the other one was EIH. So that also has opened with a gap up. So I would have a bullish stance on these two stocks.
Okay. Two more stocks that I'm watching in the opening. One is PNB Housing Finance. This stock has shot up 7.5% in trade. There was news flow as well that the company has been able to recover a large NPA of about 784 crore rupees. So news flow was pretty positive and that's supporting the stock price. PNB Housing Finance is the top gainer in the Nifty Small Cap 100 Index. KEC International, that stock is also up by about 6% in trade today. Vaishali, any thoughts on these two particular stocks?
I would say yes, KEC International it already is in a very strong uptrend, and I think it's ready for a new round of momentum. So one can get into this stock with today's low and wait for a target of around 680 to 700 levels.
Okay, and KEC does have an order flow as well. About 1,007 crore rupees of orders have come in, and that has supported the stock price as well. Sunny, any of these particular stocks that you also like?
Yeah, definitely the entire cap goods and infra spaces are looking good, looking at a very robust order book we have seen. So what we feel is that the stocks like PNC Infra, or for that matter KEC International, all these companies will have a good time in terms of earning growth over next 2 to 3 years. So definitely, obviously a valuation comfort is not available. It is like at a current juncture, finding a value is like finding a water in a desert. So it's a very tough to find a value buy at the current juncture. So what I would suggest, buy on deep or gradual accumulation is the right strategy in that sector.
Right. Mr. Agarwal, thank you so much for spending your time, and your pick, Eicher Motors, is opened fairly strongly. I was just seeing a very strong uptick on it. Yes, 33.46 on the charts, and among the top gainers both on the index as well as in the auto space. Thank you so much. We look forward to meeting you again. Let's come back to the Nifty. Now 33 points higher at 19,344. Remember, the first 5-10 minutes have passed very peacefully as far as the Nifty is concerned. Maybe, just maybe, because we have Vaishali today and Sakshi on the screen. So Lady Luck is working for the index, and maybe 19,300 is actually the support what Vaishali did mention. Okay, now let's do more price checks in front of me. This one's for you, Vaishali. Persistent, second best gainer in the market, high beta. I know it's a high ticket item, but what can be done? 49.48. What would you do? 2% higher in futures.
I would say buy at every decline. I would even buy now actually. In futures, no, but in cash, definitely worth buying because IT sector, I think that there is a lot of upside scope. It may take a while, but I think technically very well placed. I would be looking at a target of at least 5,500 from here on.
Okay, I wish we could show you the entire pack of Adani stocks as mentioned by Vaishali today and Mr. Hemen Kapadia on Friday. All of them are in smart gains. We are tracking two long calls, one on Adani Ports, which is at 846. Remember, the breakout is now gaining strength, and it's up about 1.2%, and of course Adani Enterprises 2% higher, 26.29. Apart from that, Adani Power is sticking merrily, 3% higher, 313. Your call on Adani Power, Vaishali, very strong news flow, and now above 310. What are the charts telling you?
So, well, this was the stock which we had been recommending right from 260 levels, and that time my trading target was around 310. So, we may see some profit booking, but I would say the stock is ready for an upward move. It's got out of its consolidation range, and well, it continues to show strength. So, I would say with a disciplined trading strategy, 290 act as a stop loss, and I would be looking at a target of 350, 360 from here on. So, I'm bullish on Adani Power.
Okay. Vaishali, since you're talking about the power stocks, would you also care to share with us any view on NTPC, on power grid as well? The entire power space has been buzzing quite sharply. In fact, Goldman Sachs today has come out with a report on NTPC with a target price of 275. They believe they see a revival in the thermal capex as a legacy coal business re-rates going forward from here. Peak demand of power is what we are witnessing. 216 currently right now on NTPC, and stunning move is what we've seen over the last 6 months.
Yes, so Sakshi, I agree. Actually, NTPC already a very strong uptrend, and we have seen in the recent past there has been a bit consolidation. So for this trend to continue, it's essential that it holds on to 210 levels. And once, because market is at a make or break strategy right now, so I would be very cautious. But yes, the view right now is positive. 210 should act as a stop loss, and we would be looking for a target of 225 to 230 from here on. As far as Power Grid is concerned, yes, Power Grid has not been participating. It's been in a very range-bound move, but it is above all the cluster of moving averages. So the view is positive even now. 243 is the current market price, and I would say, well, it needs to sustain about 250. That would bring in further confirmation for a target of 267.
Right, let's look back at the Nifty at 925. We've had the first 10 minutes of trade, and what's really interesting is that it's making successive higher highs and higher lows. So the first resistance that comes in is at 19,371, and we are at the moment at 19,358. Remember, the day's low was somewhere like 19,300. So we've seen a nice 50-point bounce. And now what is interesting, Sakshi, is that apart from Reliance, which is 0.5% lower at 25.43, everything else on the heavyweight side is in the green. Axis Bank is 0.6% higher, 9.49. Remember, this is a short covering, possibly rally coming in. TCS 0.7% higher, 33.91. Infosys 0.5% higher, 13.96. ITC and Kotak 0.5% higher, and then you have HDFC Bank, thankfully in the green, 0.3% higher, 1596. I think it's Vaishali's call on 19300 that's working really well, and I wish I could show you the option chain there, but all going good as far as the two index heavyweights are concerned. Infosys providing a 9-point rise to the Nifty, ITC 2.3% rise, and HDFC Bank 11-point rise on the index. Reliance is the only one pulling it down, but then its demerged entity Reliance Jio is taking it away. Let me just see what it is doing. Stuck at 20% higher at 314.20. Vaishali, since you've seen a lot of bull and bear markets, what do you suggest we do on JioFin?
Well, I would say a little bit of profit booking should not be ruled out.
Okay. Remember, passive funds that track the Nifty and the Fin Nifty will have to exit this stock because one, they would have got a confirmed level, a confirmed allotment because of their holding in Reliance Industries, and because JioFin will no longer be in the Nifty at least, then those funds have the first 3 days to exit it. Remember, you cannot trade intraday in JioFin because that's not allowed. So you can at best take a delivery or give a delivery if you have it from the demerged entity. Vaishali says just stay away for the moment. Sakshi, what are you watching?
I'm watching a lot of metal stocks also today, Shail, because a lot of them are gaining some strength in today's trading action. They have been very, very volatile over the last week, but we're looking at, say, JSW Steel, Hindalco, Tata Steel, all of them buzzing, in trade today. Vaishali, anything that you spot on the charts that makes any of the stocks from the metals basket attractive today?
I would look at Hindalco right now because Hindalco we saw, Hindalco we saw last week gave into a lot of corrective move. And once again, like 420, 430 is a very crucial support band. So I would say one should accumulate Hindalco from here on. And the other stock that I would be looking at is Tata Steel. Why not Tata Steel at these levels?
Okay, got that. Shail, apart from this, one should also keep an eye out on, say, the IT stocks. Today, the Nifty IT is now emerging as the top gaining index, sectorally speaking. And, you did point out Persistent Systems. That's definitely the top gainer. And apart from this, Emphasis, Coforge, HCL Technologies, all of them are buzzing very, very sharply in trade today. The Nifty IT is now up 0.7%. Vaishali, the IT basket, how do you spot it?
So I have been very bullish on IT sector from here on, and I have been recommending since quite a while because, well, I think the worst is over, and these are all good opportunities to start accumulating the front line. So I am looking at Infosys, I am looking at Tech Mahindra, also the other stocks like LTTS, LTIM, and of course Persistent. They're all my favorites. I would say one should buy at these levels to enjoy good profits in times to come. So not at all a trading strategy, but good level of accumulation.
Okay, got that.
Sakshi, we'll again take a look at Adani Ports. 1% higher. There are 2 or 3 important things that are going now. So within the Nifty, it's the Adani Enterprises and Adani Ports. They're the 2 top gainers. Point number 1. The second is that Adani Ports is already showing fairly decent build-up in open interest. And if you look at volume, you will not believe this, but Adani Ports is the second most active trading counter in F&O after Reliance. And the third most active trading counter is Adani Enterprises. So traders are running after this, and these are both highlighted by Vaishali once the markets open. Vaishali, another view on Adani Ports. Where is it headed? Let's try and fire a daily chart on Adani Ports.
Yes, so right now we are at 850 levels, and I would say that it is heading for a target of 880 to 900 for now. Then, of course, we can relook because projected targets are quite high, but we go step by step.
Okay.
Okay, and another interesting thing I wanted to point out was that the Nifty is getting into its first resistance, which is 19,371. And remember, it's a 70-point bounce from the day's low. And I'd like to show you pullers and draggers, which is those indices, those stocks that are contributing to Nifty on the green side. So Infosys is contributing 8 points. Infosys is up 0.7%. TCS is contributing 6.5 points. The stock is up 0.8%. HDFC Bank is contributing 5 points in the green, 0.2% higher. ITC and Axis Point 4 points ease. But Adani Ports is taking it away and now making successive intraday highs at 855.55, and it's the third day of gains. You have a stamp from Vaishali where it is headed, and Sakshi will now point out MASDOC to you. Intraday high 1920. Sakshi.
Absolutely. We've been revisiting a lot of these, defense shipbuilder names. MASDOC is definitely 160% up in 3 months. It's important to watch out for the kind of rally that we've seen. Cochin Shipyard, we discussed this extensively last week as well. It's rallied 30% in the week after Q1 results. And apart from this, of course, GRSE, that was another stock. That was our stock of the day. That shot up, about 42% in 3 sessions consecutively in the last week. Vaishali, your thoughts on these shipbuilder names and any of these that you still believe after the stupendous rally that we've seen still looks attractive?
So yes, Mazgao talks actually I've been seeing, and there's nothing wrong with the trend. And I think if 1880 levels are held on, the stock is ready for a target of 2000, 2050. And the other stock, which still has a lot of upside, is I'm looking at is DCX system. So this is another stock which is on my radar, and I think DCX system also a part of the defense, and I think this stock is ready for 300, 320. So I continue to stay bullish on all these stocks, whether it is Cochin Shipyard, Zen Technology, all these stocks look fine to me.
Okay. Very interestingly, Shail, we've got a live viewer. Abhinav Chopra ji is watching us, and he said, hi, Shail and Sakshi. And he says that I want to invest 12 lakh rupees in this market. So first of all, Mr. Chopra, congratulations to you for having that kind of a confidence in the markets that, despite the kind of move that we've seen in the last 1 month or so, you still believe in the long-term story of the markets. We will continue to get you some stock views throughout this trading session. But Vaishali, for Mr. Chopra, for having that kind of confidence in the markets, he has a 1-year view. Any particular stock that you'd like to tell him?
Well, I would say go for Infosys.
Go for which one?
Infosys.
Infosys, okay. Infosys, the top IT major, definitely a big, outperformer right here, 1397, half odd % of gains. And Shail is smiling because, he's been very, very positive on the IT stocks, and contrarian view from Shail also. All the time that everybody was running away from IT stocks, it was Shail that said that, he believes in the long-term story of the tech majors. Shail?
Sakshi, I have a very interesting theory, and I am sure Vaishali will bear me out. See, I specialize in buying pain, which is when a stock is down 30-35%, and if you go back in the life history of the stock, it has always recovered. I have always found great relief and great profits in buying pain. So when the fourth quarter results were declared, Infosys was available at 1187. I so distinctly remember because somebody called me up and he said, "Kya kar rahe ho?" And I told him, I'm doing this. And he said, "Kya hoga?" मैंने कहा भाई हद से हद क्या होगा, इससे बुरा नहीं हो सकता. 10-11% नीचे खुला है. It can't get worse than this. And in 2-3 months you will see a 200-300 point jump, and that happened. And again, this quarter, it again opened 10% down, and now it's again on its way up. So if you can specialize buying into pain when everybody is selling, and the quality of the stock is fabulous, the management is excellent, they have cash reserves, everything is going for you, you just have to be with your eyes closed, that you trade or invest during the day. So this is what I do, and thank you, Vaishali, for pointing this out. Well, it's no longer as juicy as it was somewhere in the month of April at about 1187, but certainly it's so well placed even now. If you see, the all-time high of Infosys is something like 1900, and it's available at 1400. This is not to say कि एकदम ऐसा हो जाएगा, but just have faith, keep on buying in a piecemeal sip manner. एक stock हर हफ्ते, 5 stock हफ्ते. If you want to buy 50 shares, break them into 10 buying lots, and buy 5 whenever you see a red tick, and that's how you make supernormal money. But Mr. Chopra, thank you for watching Sakshi and Vaishali, maybe me as well. Trust me, if you want to invest 12 lakh rupees, do not put in money immediately. Use this opportunity to buy quality mutual funds, one large cap, one mid cap, and one small cap. We've often discussed this, and use the SIP mode, buy them on a monthly basis, and nobody can defeat you if you do that for a period of 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Vaishali.
Right. So Vaishali, again, big congratulations to you for looking at the Adani Group stocks. All the stocks are in the green at the day's high level. Adani Ports up 2%, Adani Enterprises up 2%, Adani Transmission up 4%, the Adani Power stock definitely the top mover right here, 5.5%, 6% up in trade. Adani Wilmar, Adani Total Gas, Adani Green also all upwards of 2.5 to 3.5% in trade. ACC Ambuja also up by 1% as well. Any of the other Adani Group stocks, Vaishali, you're positive on, apart from your pick?
These are the ones which I'm tracking. So, this is it.
Okay.
If you go to see chartically, yes, Adani Greens all look favorable at these levels, but I would rather go for Adani Port, Adani Enterprise, Adani Power. They are the more market-friendly stocks. I mean, once you see the momentum, these are the ones which outperform. So, yes.
Okay, Vaishali, this one's for you. Axis Bank. We'll fire a long-term chart for it. Very, very nice move coming in. We'd seen a peak of 990, and the stock bouncing off beautifully from its 100 EMA. What is the chart telling you? I'd like to share some options data on this one. By the time I pull that out, over to you, Vaishali.
So I would say, see, long-term trend is intact, and Bank Nifty also right now, as we discussed, 43,500. So in sync with that, Axis Bank is still a better player compared to the other banking stocks. 920 was the support level, which was respected, pretty much respected. And from there on, we are seeing a bounce back coming in. So I think the stock is getting better, but it needs to cross 960, 965 levels for higher targets of 980 and perhaps higher.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of internal short covering happening in the option chain of Axis Bank, Sakshi. 940 call is showing a strong short covering. 930 call is showing a strong short covering, as also the 950 call. It's now available at 12 rupees 35 paisa. We'll keep an eye out on this one, but Vaishali's trades are taking it away. Adani Power, we last checked it at 313 rupees, Sakshi. It's now at 323, Sakshi.
Right. Apart from this, one more space that is buzzing, and we've discussed this briefly in the last week as well, and that is the healthcare stocks, and the pharma space that's been buzzing a lot. Today, Vaishali, I want you to focus on a lot of laboratory stocks. After a long haul, we are seeing Alchem Labs, Ipca Labs, Laurus Labs, all of them are in the buzzing trend today. Any of these stocks that now look attractive to you on the charts that you believe are good for a constructive move now onwards?
So I would talk about Ipca Lab because it's already into a trend formation and we are seeing the little bit of retracement. So I would say 850 should act as a good support, and once we see a new round of momentum setting in, the stock is ready for a target of 1050. So Ipca Lab is the one which I'm noticing right now.
Okay. What about Divis Laboratories? Do you have a take here too?
Already run up, so I would not advise a buy strategy right now, but yes, continue holding because the way IT stocks are moving, this is once again at a support. So those who still want to, aggressive traders, those who still want to get into this stock, do get in with a stop loss of 3580, because if it is ready to take a support and we see new momentum coming in, I think this can go to 4000 levels also. So my bias is positive, but well, my favored pick right now, if you were to ask me about pharma sector on the whole, I would be looking at Biocon because most of the stocks have run up. Biocon has still not run up. It still has potential, a lot of upside potential. So I think this was a favorable risk-reward ratio strategy as far as Biocon is concerned.
All right, Vaishali. Let's in fact take it across to Jio Financial Services listing ceremony. Of course, the listing will take place at 10 a.m. But KV Kamath is speaking first. Let us quickly listen to what he has to say about it.
Suffice to say that the team will endeavor hard starting today, as it were. They have been working for the last 5 or 6 months, but starting today with the listing, they would endeavor to work even harder to achieve what we have set out to do and be an important player in the financial services sector of this country. Again, thank you for being here today, and again I'll end by thanking all those who have held our hands to make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kamath. And yes, when we look at the India story, I think it all just makes sense. The way this country has been growing has been phenomenal, and I'm sure this company, listing of this company, of course, today, a very auspicious day, is just going to accelerate that growth and go in the right direction. Thank you once again, Mr. Kamath, for your speech. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure now to invite on the dais Mr. Subhash S. Mundra, the chairman of the Bombay Stock Exchange. And sir, we'd love to hear from you.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Kamath, Mr. Sethia, CEO of the company, all the other directors of the company present on the dais, colleagues, friends from media. First of all, let me extend a very warm welcome to you all on behalf of BSE on this listing ceremony of Jio Financial Services. Is not only a very important milestone for the company or for the group, but I would say for the Indian financial sector as a whole is a very milestone event, very milestone day. Indian economy, as we all know, is poised.
All right, we will come back to the listing ceremony of Jio Financial Services when the ringing of the bell ceremony takes place, and we will check those prices at 9:45 also, once they start in the pre-opening trade. But ICICI Bank, we've been discussing Axis Bank. Let's look at this stock as well, ticking up 0.4% up in trade, 954. Vaishali, apart from Axis Bank, are you also looking at ICICI Bank?
Oh, yes, because all this while we were seeing that PSU banking stocks were doing well. And today we are seeing these two, Axis and ICICI, showing some momentum. So I guess not in a hurry. Let's wait and watch. It is at a support level. So I would say 940 should be taken as a stop loss, and maybe a trading range of 980, 978, 980. That's what I would be looking at right now.
Okay. Again, let's look at Adani Ports right now, Vaishali, and look at the current prices of Adani Ports as well. It's again ticking up. Of course, great idea over there. 2.6% high, 858 right now. Vaishali, so great pick over there. Tell me, where do you see the stock headed now?
So as I said, I would be looking at the next target of 880. And further on from
880.
850, I would be looking at 900 also.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vaishali, for being with us on the show and sharing with us definitely a great stock that's buzzing in today's trading action as well. But let's quickly look at some of the other buzzing spaces in today's trading action. Apart from the laboratory stocks in the healthcare space, we were watching out for Max Healthcare is now, taking up 3.5% higher in trade. And we're also looking at Cipla and Lupin, also 0.5% higher. Aurobindo Pharma, another stock that we've been watching out for in the last week, is also moving up in trade. And the IT space, of course, buzzing as the top gainer in today's trading action again. So that's the kind of move that we are going to be seeing on the IT pack. Let's look at all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade on the Nifty IT, that is. Of course, the mid-cap IT space has been buzzing, and Vaishali also was positive on a whole host of stocks right there. So Persistent Systems about 2% higher. L&T Technology Services now 1.5% up in trade. You're also looking at Emphasis, HCL Technologies all up in trade as well. Shail, anything else that you spot right now?
A bit of profit booking happening on the Nifty, Sakshi. Now just up 26. Remember, the resistance that I had mentioned to you about 19,370, that kicked in, and it's about 9:47. So the first half an hour of trade is in front of you, and we were hoping for a listing ceremony to start, but that's how it is. Again, circuit on Jio Fin. But Reliance is actually at the day's low, and that's the reason why, despite IT kicking in, banks kicking in, the Nifty is now slipping. Reliance for me is now trading 0.5% higher at 25.30 and is the biggest dragger on the index. But let's look at other interesting things that we are now looking at. Shortly we'll be joined by Mr. Vishnu Dusad. He's the founder and managing director of a very, very interesting stock called Nucleus Software. Fabulous outperformance coming in there over the last 1 year or so, as has been the case across the mid-cap IT space. Numbers have been fantastic, 60% higher on net sales, 207 crores. Quarterly profit rising 4x to 53.6 crores, and the EPS has increased to 20 from 4 in the past quarter. That's how the situation is as far as Nucleus Software is concerned. But trade slipping as far as markets are concerned, Sakshi. Now Nifty is just up 20 points. So the first resistance has now coming in. We'll be joined by Mr. Dusad fairly shortly. In the meantime, let's show you the chart of Nucleus Software. The most recent high is 1267, which you saw somewhere in the month of June, and at the moment 1024, and that's how it is. If you look at the same time last year, the stock was somewhere like 400 rupees, something that's been on my radar for quite a while, and it's been a very, very interesting journey for Mr. Dusad. I met him somewhere in 1996 when a company called Polaris Software was getting listed. Nucleus Software broke away from that company. Mr. Dusad set it up, and it's been a fantastic ride. We'll wait for Mr. Dusad to come in, and by which time let me show you some other stocks which are doing pretty well in the markets. Let's look at all-time highs today. despite the sideways trend in the market. You have Lemon Tree trading at 104.70. Remember, this is a mid-sized hotel chain, up 2.5%. We have Data Patterns 6% higher, 22.85. Fairly strong volumes here, coming in 2.5 lakh shares being traded. Apar Industries, high beta counter and high ticket counter. Let's avoid that. KPR Mills 4.5% higher, 715. Remember, it's a 52-week high. And of course, you see some strong traction coming in on EIH Hotels, 2.4% higher, 229. That's what is ticking on the markets. Adani Ports at day's high, 857.65. Lots of block deals happening. Tata Power 235.10. Remember, Power is out in full force in the market. Apart from Tata Power, you have a very, very strong traction coming into NTPC, 1% higher at 1.4% rise in open interest, and the fact that you have a breakout on Adani Power. So that's how it is. And we have the listing ceremony, ladies and gentlemen, of Jio Financials right there in front of you. Remember, this is the demerged unit of Reliance Industries, now at 20% circuit, coming in at 314. Let me just see what it is. Now trading at 262. Flat price discovery as of now. It had demerged at 261.85 and
non-executive. Mr. Anshuman Thakur, ladies and gentlemen.
How the
Thank you so much, Mr. Thakur. Next, we have Mr. K. Sethuraman, non-independent and non-executive director. Mr. K. Sethuraman, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much, sir. Up next, we have...
All right, we will definitely come back for the ringing ceremony, because right now the price discovery is still at where Shail was pointing out. We'll just come back at 10 a.m. to see where the listing really happens, and we'll recheck that. Meanwhile, let's look at a lot of other stocks also that are buzzing more in trade. Shail, you were discussing about AU Small Finance Bank. I do see, Bank of Baroda, IDFC First Bank, even Federal Bank looking at a long build-up in today's trade as well. The top gainers as far as the price movers are also concerned. So the banking space stocks, especially, those PSU banks are definitely again up in the green.
Right, Sakshi, and that's how it is as far as stock picking is concerned. So we had highlighted Adani Ports before markets opened. You got a very nice call alongside coming in from Vaishali. That's the top performing stock as far as the Nifty is concerned, and is really blowing it up on the charts. Apart from that, Sakshi, what's really interesting is that you see some strong traction coming in on quality IT stocks. I just wanted to see what KPIT and KPIT and Birla Soft are doing. They normally don't keep quiet. When a day IT is ticking, the index is already up 0.5% at 30,750. Birla Soft is flat at 454. What is KPIT doing? Normally what happens is that when the sideways trend has happened, then these stocks start sticking. KPIT is in the red, so let's not look at these. I'll tell you what are the other stocks that are ticking on. Lots of software that's here around me. I had mentioned to you small banks, PNB, and of course Central Bank of India. These are the ones that are below the rung of leading public sector banks, and now down 34.70. So that's how it is. And let's look at some other high beta stocks that are doing pretty well. Okay, India Cement 3% higher, 244.15. Nykaa 1% higher, 133.45. CDSL 1% higher, 11.56. Canfin Homes 1% higher, 732.95. This is how it is. In the defense space, we have Midhani now actually moving towards 400, 1.8% higher, 397.20. Garden Reach 1.5% higher, 759. So these are the ones that we are watching, and it's already 9:56. Time to probably wrap up the show.
Right, absolutely. Let's quickly look at a lot of stocks that are buzzing the most in trade right now. 52 points up on the Sensex, holding on to that 65,000 mark somehow. 19,319, only up about 8.5 points on the Nifty as well. So we are slowly coming under pressure, but the 19,300 mark is definitely being protected as of now. The Nifty IT, clearly we spoke, it's the top gainer. The Nifty Mid-Cap 100 Index is also moving higher. A lot of other stocks that are from the mid-cap 100 space that are buzzing in trade. Apart from Adani Power, you have Trident, you have Dixon Technologies, Tube Investments, all up 2.5 to 4% in today's trade. Persistent Systems, we mentioned, it's up 2%. Shriram Finance, one of the biggest movers of the last week, and we had discussed it as a stock pick as well. 1.5% up for this one. Astral, Indraprastha Gas, that's also moving up in trade right now. So a lot of, Sona BLW, we just discussed this, that stock is up by 1% in trade today. Shail?
Yes, Sakshi. Another one that's ticking very well is TVS Motors. I'd like to highlight this one as well. We've seen the day's high coming on this one. Yes, 1354, and yes, 1% higher, and a fairly sharp increase in open interest, 1.6% on about 30-35 minutes into trade. So TVS is something that you need to look at, and because tomorrow is Fin Nifty's expiry, Sakshi, you've already seen Bajaj Finance ticking in the green, and of course at day's high. Wonderful chart. I wish Vaishali were with us as of now. 68.84, and while you see a flat intraday chart, but actually the stock has taken a very, very strong support from its 200 DMA. All-time high is 8,001. 8,010 and about 868.89. Tomorrow being a Fin Nifty expiry, you will see some magic happening on Bajaj Finance between now and 3:30 and tomorrow, Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shail. So importantly, we will be watching out for now the Jio Financial listing to take place. That's definitely important to watch out for. JSW Energy. Let's quickly look at this stock before we wrap up the show. That's moving up. In fact, power stocks, all of them that we have discussed are buzzing in trade. Adani Power and of course the Adani Group stocks, they're all moving in trade. Adani Transmission, Adani Green, Adani Wilmar, Total Gas, all are buzzing in trade. So the power stocks, Adani Group stocks, these are the two buzzing spaces in trade today. And of course, we'll be looking at Reliance Industries. Right now, a little subdued, but we'll look at the Jio Financial Services listing now. Many thanks, Shail, for being with us. And with that, we will quickly wrap up this edition. Do stay tuned on to Business Today TV to catch all the news from the world of business and stock markets and continuously tracking the markets. Don't forget to log on to Business Today TV, our channel, at 12:30 p.m. because Nilesha will be joining us live to take your live questions as well, when we'll be discussing a whole host of macro and micro data as well. We'll quickly look at the Jio Financial Services listing right now.
And here we go. One more gong, sir. One more gong.